Hi everyone, thank you for coming to my channel. It's been a little bit since I've been here. I did go to New Mexico to teach an art journal class, and that was amazing. And I did take a couple weeks off, and then we kind of had the flu bug running around here, so I just wanted to give you a quick little update of what I've been doing the last few weeks. But I am here now, and I'm happy to be here, and I hope everybody's had a great summer. We are into fall, which is my favorite time of year. So it's time to get back to work. I am starting to work back into my metals again, my copper, my soldering. So I do art form called electroforming. So this is basically plated in copper through a chemical process where you use electricity in a chemical bath, and you put this in there and it'll plate. The ions will attach itself to whatever it is attracted to in the bath. And so this is plated in real copper. And I was trying to think, okay, well, a lot of people don't. These are really cool little plates. And I was going to show you how to make these. And I thought, well, not everybody wants to get an electroforming. It's a very tedious, really involved art, but I wouldn't discourage anybody from doing it. If something you really want to do, I would definitely get into it. It is phenomenal. It is a beautiful art. Try to do something different. I thought, well, why don't I try to use copper leaf and do a faux on these, so that maybe if you wanted to give these a try, they would be super simple for you, and you can get that metal look that we all strive to get. And when I was thinking about that, I was like, oh, what if it worked, as another form of tintype? We could do it a simple way, just another form of a metal look behind your tintype. I did a few of these different kind of versions of the ideas as they popped out, and I did share those with you, and I have seen so many people tag me. Tracy did give this a go as well. I mentioned using tinfoil, and she went and tried the tinfoil, and she came out with phenomenal results. So if you want to check hers out, please go over there and check hers out. And then I showed you how to do it with plexiglass and a couple other versions. So if you head over to my playlist, or I'll try to put that below, you can watch those videos as well. This is just another version, a quick version. Plus I will go into showing you how to make these. Okay, so let's get started on what we talked about. So you're going to need, I use Sculpey clay, and actually there is other clays that are more expensive that are a harder clay that I do have, but it takes a lot of kneading and whatnot. And if you're just going to put these on the book or the covers, then they should be fine. But you don't want to go, these will snap. But this seems to be a little bit durable. This is called Super Sculpey. So I mean, I've had this for years and it stays pretty well. There doesn't need much kneading into them. A lot of doll makers use this Super Sculpey. These do work for plates, but there is another brand, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a little bit harder of a bakeable clay, and you have to really work with it. But it will prevent it from snapping. A lot of clay artists use them to make jewelry. They use that clay, but we're just going to go ahead and use the Sculpey clay. I'm not even going to bake this, you guys. I'm just going to go ahead to this one, but I just wanted to show you what I did. So I just kneaded this really quick, roll it out to a snake, and actually I just flattened it with a good old ruler, rounded the edges, and then we're going to just put a word on here. These are little stamps that I have, word stamps, whatever you want to use. And then we're just going to, what I like to do, sometimes I'll put the letters on the end of where I want them to end, and then I'll kind of place them on here, and we'll have to add 2 O's. So I think that looks good. Sometimes you'll get the little square impression. If you don't like that, you can kind of smooth that out with your fingers if you want to. We just need a good impression. I'm going to move that over. Oops. There we go. And then you're going to bake these to the directions on the box, which I believe it's like a little under 200 degrees. I do these for like 10 to 15 minutes, but it depends on your oven. And if you find you added a little bit too much on the end, you can just cut that out, round it off. So so we'll just do that. I'll bake this one later. You can even it up. So even if you added like a little bit more, it squishes out, made it up a little bit longer, you can still fix that to even it out on the sides there. So there you go, it says spooky. And then I just take a little needle tool and then you're going to add your holes, so that way you give it something to attach to, whether that is wire, string, waxed string. And you don't have to really make them that big, but so yeah, so that is that. Then you're going to go ahead and bake that in the oven, and then we'll come out with this. Let's move that to the side. So this is Dream, and we're going to do these two, so you're kind of getting a 2-for-1 again. This is, like I said, super simple, you guys. This is called Copper Leafing, and this one is Craft Smart. A lot of people want to know the brand. I got this at Michael's. It's fairly inexpensive, so I've used a lot of this stuff. But before we grab our leafing out, we're going to actually put our glue down. I just wanted to make sure I had a leaf in here. Okay. Oh, there's one actually. Whoops. Haven't used this in a while. I'm just going to, whoa, there we go, guys. I'm just going to use a little bit of that because that was stuck on there. And I'm just going to apply this with my hands. You don't have to do that, but because you want to wait till this gets tacky. I'll probably brush on the other one though. Okay, so then you're just going to set that aside. I just don't really like using my brushes with this stuff. I guess I have some water here. It just gets really tacky really quick. So you got to use junk brushes if you use this stuff. And you're just going to put a generous amount of the gold leaf, or the, what is this called? It's metal leaf adhesive, so that's what that is. And I'm going to not waste all that, and I'll try to get that back in the jar. Alright, everyone. Alright guys, so there's that. And I will be back after this is dry, and then we'll add the leafing. Okay, we're back. So it is dry when it's completely transparent. This one has a little bit more to dry, but if you see, it's just kind of like glossy now. We're going to start with this one since that one has a little bit more time to dry. And I kind of just pull over the leafing, kind of like this, and you just smooth it on. There's super simple, you guys. And you'll see a little bit of your brush strokes in it, but that's fine. And then I just kind of put the pieces here, the leftovers, because that is little pieces you can use for other little stuff. And if you do have leafing on your, or glue on your hand, it will stick to it. Just to let you know. And then sometimes I'll just take a soft brush and I'll go ahead and smooth that out. And then we're going to oxidize this. So we're not done with it complete. If you wanted to be done here with the process, you can be. But if you wanted to, see I have some glue there. If you just wanted to leave it like this, you can. But if you want to oxidize it like I'm going to with liver of sulfur, you can do that as well. So we'll see what this looks like on here. That's really cool. You could actually probably use your inks on here. I'm going to, that looks really cool. I'm going to go ahead and use the liver of sulfur. And we'll go ahead and get this piece on too. I mean, it grabs quick too, you guys. So you kind of just want to burnish it in. Be a little bit careful. I kind of ripped it a little bit. You don't want to double this up too much because you want the word to come out. So you just kind of want to burnish it with a soft brush. And if you did get a little bit where it came off a little bit, you can just go back and add a tiny bit of gold or the copper leaf. Like that. Push it in. It's very flyaway too. This stuff is a lot of, it's very fun to work with. It's real metal. It's just really thin sheets of metal. You'll have little flakes of it coming off too, but yeah. And like I said, I just use a soft brush, and whatever sticks, sticks, and whatever comes off, comes off. You'll have to re-poke your holes in there, obviously. And sometimes you can just use a little brush and pick it up and put it down. Softer brush. See, that one was that other brush I just had was the one I used the glue in, and that's kind of why I don't like using brushes because they stay sticky. I can put some solvent on it to get that stickiness off of there. But you just kind of want to tamper it down to get into all those little spaces. You can use these tiny little pieces here to grab onto the glue in there. And it's so tacky that it'll grab quick. Let's see, a little piece in there. I think that looks good, you guys. I think this idea is just fun. It just gives you another way like this. And you can so you can leave it like this. This is actually oxidized. This is, if you like it just like this, you can leave it that way. Re-poke your holes in. But I would, the reason why I did oxidize it so it can get into those cracks, so you can kind of see the words a little bit better. You know how they darken up in there. Alright guys. I'll get this cleaned up and we'll be back. Okay, we're back. Now we're going to add the liver sulfur. So this is what liver sulfur is, and this is the brand that I have. This is my favorite brand. I've used this, I'm about halfway gone. I just wanted to, I usually keep it in this package here, and just because if it's drippy, it just drips in the package. But so you have to have either warm or hot water. I get hot water out of the tap, and you're just going to add literally a couple drops, and that's it. And then I just snap that shut and put that away. And then you're going to mix it up, and you're going to see it turn yellow, and it does have a stinky smell to it. Smells like rotten eggs, or if you've ever been to Yellowstone, there you go. Okay, so it is warm. So with this one, I'm going to brush it on. With this one, I'm just going to dip it in. And let's see what I got here. Now, I did not put any copper on the back because I'm planning on putting this on a flat surface. If you were to make this a dangle or whatnot, you want to copper the back as well. If not, I will. And if I didn't do it and I was like, man, I wish I would have, I also have copper metal paint that I can do that with as well. But this will just oxidize your copper. And I don't really put the tweezers in there. You're not supposed to dip anything in here, any other metal besides, you know, like sterling silver or copper. But I'm just kind of getting it to turn. As you can see, it's already oxidizing. that warm water really is what the key is to liver of sulfur. Then I'm going to get this other end. And the longer you leave it in there, it will turn black. It's turning black. If you were to put this on straight from the bottle, that's way too much. This is super, super, super concentrated. So yeah, you don't want to do that. So yeah, so that looks good. So we're just going to put that over there. And then I think I'm going to do this one. I don't want to cover it because I'm just looking for blotches. I think that's what I'm going to go for on this. So I'm just going to take a paintbrush. I'm going to just pat it down because we kind of want that tintype, that inky, blotchy look. It's harder to control once this is on where it lands. Where I showed you with the ink, you can just like take it back off. This is kind of like it's there and whatever turns that's the way it goes. So we'll let this sit and then we'll come back and we'll look at the final results, you guys. So that's what I do with that. I'm just going to let that sit and then you'll see the blotches, the black kind of coming through. That was really cool. Alright guys, we'll be right back. Okay, we are back and I did do a few little things off camera, but I will explain those. They weren't anything important that you did miss. Like I said, it's easy to explain. So here it is dried. So it's kind of cool. This copper's super, super shiny. I need to get some silver leaf. I would like to try it with that because I think it probably will turn out better, but I wanted to try it with this copper because I'm always using copper. I mean, I do have some nickel that I could have probably tried this on, but the nickel wasn't big enough. Anyways, so what I did, so we'll just take this off. Everything was dry. You can see there. And when I said that wherever it lands is where it's going to turn dark. That's the way it goes, you guys. I wanted a little bit more of a darker edge, and I did explain that this stuff is super concentrated. But you can take a little tiny bit, add some water to it if you want these darker edges. That's all I did. Is I just put one little, hold on, okay. It's sticking over here on my finger. Okay. All I did is I put like a tiny, like, drop. Like, I'll show you how much. Like, it is super tiny drop. Like I said, this stuff is super concentrated and you just want a little tiny bit. So like that. Even probably less than that. And then you're going to go ahead and add your water to it. And I'll do it to this little piece. This is just with alcohol ink, but I'm just going to show you really quick. So that's super concentrated right here. And it'll instantly turn this black. You see that on the little corner. See that? So you can do that on here, but like I said, you have to be really careful because it's the stronger it is, it will tend to like kind of, it could eat through that little thin layer of copper because it is so thin. But if you did want to just darken up the little edges, you can go ahead and do that with some of that liver of sulfur. And then I went ahead and I just splattered on some blue patina. That's another chemical that you would have to purchase if you want this blue patina, and that's something you don't have to do. It's by Modern Masters blue patina, but like I said, it's just something I did. I was just experimenting to see how the transparency would look on there with a little bit of color, and I think it looks really cool. So that's how that turned out, you guys, with the copper. I think it looks really neat. Like I said, you can get silver leafing as well, and I'll probably do that, get silver leafing, so I would think that the transparency will stand out a little bit more, and that's true. more traditional tin type, but I love working with all metals, especially copper, so I wanted to give that a try. And what my original tutorial was these little plates. So we'll get back to that. I did want to show you something really quick before the plates. So I wanted to experiment with the inks. So all I did was I took a piece of tape, because I didn't really have something to put it back on. I thought, well, I'll try a piece of tape. And that's all I did, you guys. I just got a piece of leafing here, and then you don't have to add any glue. You just stick it down like this. Well, that wasn't very graceful, but if you have it flat, you just stick it down there and just smooth it out. It still smooths out pretty well. And then all I did is I just went ahead and picked up the silver pieces, or the copper pieces, excuse me, on the pieces that don't have any. So yeah, so it smooths out pretty nice. But that's how I did the nice smooth one. I just kind of gently came upon it and smashed it down. You probably smash it from right out of your sheet too, like this. I'm not trying to be perfect here, you guys, because I'm trying to just show you something quick. Anyway, you just can burnish it down here on your silicone. You can brush off the excess. This is just something to do different with your leafing. I'm always trying to do different stuff. It's just the way it goes with me. Okay. And we're not going to spend too much time on that. And this stuff will adhere to everything, you guys. Okay, so you can probably just pick it up with your tape here if it sticks. I pick up paint this way and all kinds of stuff. Okay, so then all I did was the same thing that I showed you on a previous tutorial. I just got your alcohol inks, whatever colors you like. Then this is a little pipette of alcohol ink. So I just put some down here. Get your brush. And I kind of just splatter it down and color it up. Like I said, there's all kinds of ways to add your ink however you want to. It's fun seeing everybody's take on these. I love it. And then if you got too much or you don't like where they're at, you can put some alcohol ink down. And then just smush it on here and I'll move it around a little bit. So you kind of get that movement. You can add, you know, your darker edges. Like I say, this time I'm using copper. This is another fun way to make some different kind of tape, metallic tape, but you'll have to obviously put an adhesive on the back of that. And then you can add different colors if you like. I kind of just like the darker colors. And if you want to, you can blot some alcohol ink on there as well. It'll kind of just spread it out. Yeah, so there you go, guys. So there's that. And then I was thinking, you know, so this is what it looks like after it had the dip in the sulfur. If you wanted to add more, because you can't really buff it back because, like I said, the leaf is so thin that if I were to try to buff this back, it would just buff it right back down to the clay. So this you can buff. I buff this with a Dremel tool and the buffing wheel. And so, you know, metal is metal, right? You can only get as close as you can with it when it's faux. So I wouldn't buff this, but You could add some like some copper paint if you wanted to try to lift some highlights up on here. Or, and if you wanted to darken the letters, you can add your alcohol ink in here as well. And then if you wanted to darken the dream. I don't think I would use the concentrated into the letters just because it could eat through it. Like I said, it's super strong. And this leafing is very thin. And all we're doing is we're just trying to add some antiquing to that. You could put some out here if you wanted to, or let's see. I just think these little plates are so cool. And I know a lot of people like wanting the look of metal, but they may not want to get into or spend the money, because you know, things do cost to get into a new form of art. So, but as I always say, I never discourage anybody from wanting to try things. So if you want to get into electroforming, I definitely do it. It's a lot of fun. And then just blot some alcohol ink over it. It shouldn't, I don't think it'll hurt anything. Just maybe give it a little bit more blotchiness. And then maybe we'll try just a little bit. Maybe I'll rinse this brush out. This is copper paint. Okay. And make sure that's dry. So that's what this looks like so far. And I might just, let's see, you gotta mix this up. I already mixed it up. Just put some down there. And I'll probably just use my finger. You can come back, because you can't come back with the leafing, right? Because you can't buff this stuff. But you can just come back with, and you can use it any kind of copper paint. You know, you don't have to use this one. You can use a metallic, but we're just kind of going for that faux look. Grunging it up a little bit, and then bringing. So I'm just trying to create the effect of like buffing it back up around the edges. And like I said, if you're gonna, you can paint the back too if you want to with this silver paint. You don't have to, especially if it's going to be flat. You know, so. And I electroform both sides because that's just how that works. But yeah, so there you go, guys. Look at that. So here's the faux one and here's the real one. Whoops. Yeah, I don't think it's too far off. How about you guys? What do you think? So we did that, and then I did we did leaf on the tape there, and then put alcohol ink, so that's with alcohol ink. And then we did a plate with the leafing and liver of sulfur with the tintype. Now, I'll get that in there. Attaching this, some people just use a little daub of alcohol ink. It's kind of turns sticky when it dries, so that could work. We could do that. We could wire it around, or I do have, because I solder, you could copper foil around this. This is thick enough for this. And it might get too hot, but I could probably try to solder this, but it might melt the, I don't know. But you could put this on here, and that is real copper, so copper foil. It's very conductive. And then you could go ahead and blacken it up if you want to. So if you wanted to use this copper foil, let me put a little bit more of that on there. If you wanted to use this copper, because this will oxidize as well. So this is cool. This is copper tape that you would use around to solder. Like you've put 2 pieces of glass, which you'll see me doing some things pretty soon here. Put that around, you solder it, and then you can patina it. But this is real copper, like I said. So you could just, without having to solder, but you wanted that grungy look, you could go ahead and get some copper tape, put this around it, and then oxidize it, or oxidize it first and then wrap it around. There you go, guys. You could just buy this kind of tape and use it for other things as well besides soldering. So it comes in a roll like this. I have all different, I have a ton of copper tape. Anyways, so that's another video. But yeah, well, thank you for joining me, guys. Again, these are just simple tutorials. If you try this, please tag me. I've been enjoying seeing your guys' takes on these as well. This is just giving you other versions of what I do in simpler form, because I think these turned out really cool. I mean, it's not too far off from looking like real copper. I mean, it's pretty much real copper. It's copper leaf, but just the end result looks really cool. And then, like I said, you can do that on the tape. You can make some faux tintypes again with a different kind of version. Alright, guys, like I said, tag me if you try these. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you to all my new subs. I really, really do appreciate it. Your guys' support means so much. I look forward to seeing everybody's makes. And see what else. I got a few things going on, and yeah, it's been fun. I did go ahead and try to do the foil tape around it, and it worked out perfect. So I'll just explain what I did. I just took the foil tape, like I showed you, and I started at the side, just how you would if you're going to do something soldered. Go up and around, make sure it's centered in your tape. This is a thick piece of wood, you guys. You wouldn't have to use You wouldn't have to use this necessarily. This is just what I had, and I had the tape work perfect. So center it, go around, overlap it where they meet. And then I just took the little concentrated liver sulfur that I had over here, and I brushed it on, and then I buffed it off with a paper towel. You could use a really soft, like I think it's 000 steel wool, just to buff it up a little bit. But this again is thin soldering copper tape. But yeah, so I think it looks really cool. It's just another way to hold it on, and it actually looks like a faux soldered piece in a little bit of a way. You could add some dimension to that with some other products to make it look more like a faux soldered piece. But I think that turned out really cool. And then whatever I had left over, I just swiped on here, and I wanted to show you, I don't know if this will, but you can kind of see when you put it on there full strength, it burns through it. If you can see that, that's kind of what I wanted to show you, how potent that liver sulfur is with this leaf. But if this is something cool that you wanted to make some tape and look like it's burnt, then I thought that turned out really cool, and I just wanted to show you guys that really quick. But yeah, so that's this close-up with the tape around it. There's the back. I think that looked really neat. And then I don't know if I did these close-up. I think I did somewhat. Anyways, yeah, these turned out really cool. I just wanted to show you what I ended up doing in the end, just so when you see it in the picture you don't have too many questions. So I hope I explained that all. Again, hope everybody's having a great fall, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.